Hello everyone, this is Starry Ari's ASMR. I am Ari, and this video is a little bit of a different kind of experiment. So I was recently at the Dollar Tree, and I was in the beauty aisle section, kind of looking at the press-on nails and the nail polish. And our Dollar Tree specifically is pretty unorganized a lot of the time. And so anytime I'm looking in this section, I always like to kind of tidy it up a little bit. It's just really satisfying for me. And I love watching videos like this. There is a channel called Southern ASMR Sounds, and she does a lot of like nail polish organizing at like Walmart or Dollar Tree, and I find it so satisfying, and I love the sounds and just kind of the ambient sounds of the store as well. While I was here, I thought, you know what, if I'm gonna do this a little bit anyways, let me see if I can just prop my phone on the cart and just kind of make a video of it. And I've kind of thought about, you know, if I do this in the future, what I would do differently. So if you like this, just let me know. This first half of the video is going to have this soft-spoken voiceover, and then I will add the same organizing clips for the second half of the video, but just with no talking. So I'll have timestamps for that if you would prefer the no talking version. You might also notice lots of cuts and jumps here and there. The store was pretty slow when I was in there, which is pretty rare for this Dollar Tree, but there were still kind of lots of loud people. Like, they would kind of come by in and out of the aisles and just be really loud. So I've tried to cut some of those sections out and also remove some of the talking in some of the clips just for other people's like privacy. I just know that I would not really care for somebody recording me while I'm just out shopping and chatting with a friend, so I've tried to cut out some of those clips, so I'm hoping that it's still pretty relaxing, and if nothing else, hopefully just a little bit satisfying. So I started in kind of a weird pattern. I'm starting in this midsection with the press-on nails and nail tools, and just kind of tidying up some of these sections. And I was actually swinging into the store to see if they had another pack of some nails I had picked up here before, because I wanted just another pack to be able to have some extra sizes, but they sadly did not have that pack, but that was okay. You can also hear the beeping of the scanner as the checker is kind of scanning people's items. I think it's kind of relaxing and not necessarily like a tingly way, but just kind of like an ambient type of way. I was also really excited that they weren't playing any music so that I could film this little clip of me organizing. And there's another Dollar Tree near us that does play like pretty loud music, so I think if I do more organizing, it'll have to be at the store in the early morning. Then I moved on to the nail polish section, and you can see that there were like quite a few just like random bits and bobs just like thrown into these shelves. It's like people decide that they don't want something, and so they just kind of like shove it in any nearby shelf, which if you do that, don't be doing that. I worked in retail when I was in college, And I think that's part of why I love doing this kind of tidy. Like anytime I'm in a store, if I'm looking through clothes, I'll just kind of naturally tidy up the hangers as I'm going, because I know a very large portion of companies do not properly staff their stores so that the workers can have time to go out and tidy the shelves. And so if the customers are kind of like making messes, like they just never have time to actually go out and clean them. So I love just kind of like, it's very satisfying for me to organize things. And I know that it hopefully, helps out the workers a little bit. If you don't want something, but you don't remember where you picked it up from, or you just don't want to walk all the way back, hand it to the checker. Just tell them, I'm so sorry, I don't want this item anymore, can you put it back? I'm very grateful to have not worked retail in a very long time, but I still have those traumatic memories seared into my brain. Organizing the nail polish, I think, is really satisfying, except for when there are a few colors that don't really have official spots, and that's always a little bit tricky, but I try and kind of like put them maybe where it makes the most sense, or if there's like a miscellaneous, section, or there's only a few bottles in one spot, then I'll kind of put them all there. But it's very satisfying just kind of lifting up some of the bottles and moving around some of the colors that just don't belong in those little sections. See, so this item here actually goes over into this section, so it's not as egregious, but on the top shelf there were like toys and, there were some like auto equipment and just things that like shouldn't even be in this aisle anywhere, that I know people just decided they didn't want. So I tried to kind of pull those out and just set them up on the top of the shelf where it was easy enough to see for workers if they're coming by and trying to clean up whatever they have time for. It's very tingly for me hearing the nail polish bottles clink. I have a very large nail polish collection at home, and it was actually suggested to me not too long ago to do kind of a full nail polish collection video, which I think would be very long, and I said that I would do it, but I think it's probably been a couple months and I have not done it yet. So maybe in the new year I might get around to doing that. I suppose I could have also just held my phone while I did this and given you guys better angles of all of this, but I think that I am still much too self-consciously aware while I'm out in public, and I wouldn't want people being like, what is that person doing? It's like I generally, am pretty okay just like doing my own thing most of the time, don't really care too much, but I think that filming in public is like a special type of thing that I applaud other people for being able to do well. Here's this notebook that was just kind of shoved into here. And it just makes it harder to kind of see what you're trying to look at and like what you're trying to shop for if there are a bunch of items just shoved right on top of them. There were some really pretty shades in this nail polish section that I hadn't really seen before, and I don't use, or I try not to buy new nail polish too much now because I have so much of it already at home, and a lot of the time I'm buying pre-made press-on nails, so I just don't need my nail polish as often. I I wasn't really going for perfection because I think there's only really so much you can do. You know, not being a worker, it's not like I could add a new peg hook or anything like that to hang new products on. So we're just kind of doing the best with what we're given already. My husband kind of pokes fun at me for doing things like this when we go shopping. Usually if I'm with him, I'll only do it for just very briefly in the section that I'm currently looking at. But if I'm on my own, I'll maybe dedicate, like 5-10 minutes, and I find it just like so satisfying just to do myself. So I don't really mind doing it. It's really silly still, maybe. And then I kind of moved back over to this general beauty section. I was trying to be a little bit careful and aware of, if there were other people in the aisle that might want to look at certain things. I was trying to kind of bounce around this section a little bit just to give other people the opportunity. This section here was kind of their makeup. There was some liquid blush and contour. They even had some BB creams and foundations, concealers, kind of anything you might need. I don't really shop beauty products at the Dollar Tree anymore, but when I was in high school and early college days, I definitely did, because I was not trying to spend lots and lots of money, or I didn't have money to spend on higher end makeup or even regular drugstore brand makeup that was slightly pricier than what I could get at the Dollar Tree. And honestly, there were some really good products. I remember there was a liquid eyeliner, I think, from LA Colors that, I don't know if they would even make any of the products that I used to use now, but that liquid eyeliner was so good. It was my favorite, even through, once I actually was able to maybe afford slightly higher priced items at the drugstore, I still used that liquid eyeliner. I think that LA Colors is probably the brand that I recognize the most at the Dollar Tree. I think that often they'll have kind of little smaller brands as well that I just don't really know, but I think LA Colors is one that's pretty consistently there. And I think that the Dollar Tree has really expanded their selection in maybe the last 10 years or so. I think they've always kind of had makeup and nail polish and stuff, but I feel like the beauty section at most stores that I go to seems like there are a lot more options than I used to have, which I think is great. I think it's really wonderful to give people this option to kind of play around with makeup, figure out products and types that they might like or not like without having to spend a lot of money when it's just, $1, or I guess $1.25 now. It's a little bit easier to kind of take that gamble. I have a few ideas for how I could do this better, so if you liked this, please let me know. And I could also do other sections in the store. I feel like the beauty section is always kind of the most satisfying for me, but oftentimes the greeting cards are kind of mixed together, so I could do something in that section. I hope that you've enjoyed this little bit of a soft-spoken voiceover. I will go ahead and sign off here so that you can enjoy the second half of the video with no talking if you wish. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.